I should have got back out that window. I should have gone out that window when the car was locked. I don't even know the point of it. I should have looked out that window. I should have got my baby out of it. But it was nothing intentional. And I will live with that for the rest of my life. Nobody loves Cristina more than I did. I was working 4 jobs to get a wheelchair fit for her. Just had her fitted for a brand new top of the line wheelchair. Had her clothes ready for school. I would have never hurt my baby. I can't believe that I was convicted of murder. Because what happened was not murder. It was negligence and something that whether I'm in prison or home, I will regret for the rest of my life. And I can't wait to be with my baby girl again. Please, Your Honor, if you can consider give me a minimum house arrest, anything. I don't care. I don't have much time left anyway, and I would like to spend as much time with my children and grandchildren as I can. And know that I would have never, ever stood outside that car and watched my baby suffer. I loved her. I loved her more than anything in this world. And I'll tell you what, Larry loved her too. Larry would never have hurt her. We were arguing that day, and we put ourselves in front of her. I lost total track of time, but it was not murder, it was not intentional.
Well, you know, you didn't write the law. And you weren't thinking about the law on that day, were you?
And like I said, I was negligent and I own that, and I have for 4 years. Everyone who I talked to, I told them I should have made better choices. I should have gotten in that car like Larry wanted me to, and I should have taken my baby home. And there's not a day to go to find it. I don't wish I don't. Because she would be here now, and I just taken her home. The home that I just had totally renovated for her. Her bedroom, her bathroom, the whole house was all for Cristina. And as soon as I got out of jail, I put it on the market because it wasn't a home anymore. I didn't care about it. Because no place is a home without her.
Anything else you want to tell me?
We loved her so much.
All right, response by the state.
Yes.
Yeah. The conduct of the defendants in this case, true, is being represented now by the defense. It's not a traditional murder. It's not where you pull a gun and shoot someone in the head. But your conduct can become so extremely reckless that it constitutes a willful disregard for human life and constitutes murder. To place the child in a burning car in effect and walking away is murder. To leave a child in a car for 6 hours under the circumstances that occurred in this case is murder. It's not one of the situations that we see, and there have been studies most recently where people forget about the child, believe that they have dropped the child off for daycare and various things. But that's not this situation, where there's absolute, total disregard for the child. Considering that the two of you were there around the car any number of times without doing anything to save this child's life and contributing to the child's death. And all the good things I've heard today, being a teacher, being a concerned person, being a wonderful friend, a person of faith, that wasn't a person there on that day when you all were on this drug binge, at least as described by Mr. King. And I've said it before, the people we see in court are typically not the people that were out on the streets doing the things that landed them in court. And it doesn't get any worse than this as it relates to a mother and a child and a person with the mother dealing with the child. So the offense that you committed was murder, and that's all there is to it. Of course you would love the opportunity to turn back the hands of time, but you can't do it. Of course, you will continue to suffer for what happened to your child, but for being strung out on meth. And I've seen it time and time again. Was it methamphetamine we're dealing with? Yeah. But for methamphetamine and dealing with it, neither of the two of you would be here. But those were decisions that you all made. And to the extent your minds were just totally contorted, and I don't know the minds of a person on meth, but I paid close attention to the witness who testified convincingly about the effects of methamphetamine on the brain. It's as if you didn't have a brain on that day at that time. And, we're hearing about this mistake and bad judgment and all, I see it all the time with children, people who we deal with all the time. I call them children, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, people who do these same types of things, kill people because they're strung out on drugs, high on drugs. And, a life sentence for them is more than the lifespan that you're talking about, because they're going to prison at ages 20, 21, 22, 23 for life. And you don't have the excuse that they might come in here with. Of course, none of it is acceptable, but they will come in strung out on drugs, parents strung out on drugs, all kinds of things that play into them going wayward, going astray. And for you, a person who had a good reputation in the community, to throw it away chasing drugs, and then coming and asking me for leniency? And I'm trying to balance who's more at fault here, really, Mr. King or Ms. Pangalangan. I mean, it's almost a toss-up. Mr. King put the child in the car and, per the video, just didn't care anything about the child. Just left the child there to die while they're pursuing each other. It's just so, it's almost unbelievable. How could you all do such a thing? And you could do such a thing because you're hooked on drugs, hooked on meth.
I've always been anti-drugs.
Pardon?
I divorced my first husband because he was an addict.
Mhm.
I do not do drugs. I never did drugs. It was in my drink that weekend, and I have told my lawyer that several times. But I don't do drugs, and I wish back then I would have taken a hair follicle test or something to show me that drugs was not a part of my life.
Yeah, that makes you having less an excuse, less justification. Your mind wasn't screwed up as you're telling us now.
That weekend because it was in my, I was not a drug user.
Yeah, a mother who's not under the influence would leave their child in a car under those circumstances for 5-6 hours, who knew the child was in the car and knew the child had been in the car for that period of time, and drive off and leave the child. How could you? Anything further?
Yes, sir. No, thank you. Not as an excuse, but to better clarify her position. Her position is that was the first time she had ever tried it, Your Honor, is what she said. That she didn't have a pattern of conduct of abusing the drugs, but that was the first weekend, and it ultimately led to the worst mistake of her life.
Yeah,
Your Honor, it's in the benefit of this court.
it was his first time as well.
No, you got to testify, and I'm not making light of it.
Yes, sir.